G'day everybody and welcome to my Aussie garden and kitchen. My name's Darren, but please call me Daz. And normally on my channel I do the cooking, but today instead of me doing the cooking, my wife's doing the cooking. Today she's made börek, which is a Turkish dish. Now I have to point out that this is our version of it. It's not the traditional way of doing it. It looks similar, but it's definitely not the traditional recipe, and I just need to point that out because I don't want to mislead anyone and claim that we're making the real deal. But we have a whole bunch of kids, we have 6 of them, and we all have various likes and tastes, so this is the way we do it to please everybody. Alright, so Emma's already actually started, and as you can see, we've got the Filo pastry on the bench there, and she had a damp cloth over the top of it. She just got a tea towel. I don't know what they call them overseas, but here we say a tea towel, and I think she wants it back. And she wets it down and just keeps it on top of the pastry to keep the pastry moist. I would just like to point out that this is not a planned video. I was talking to a few people this morning about what my wife's making for dinner tonight, and a lot of people were saying, what is that and how do you make it? So I've gone and grabbed my gear and brought it out, and my wife was actually already in the process, just starting. Now, this is a normal house like any other, so there's kids playing video games and walking backwards and forwards. We've got a couple of birds in cages over here that talk and make noises, and the ice machine's over this way making ice. So you're probably going to hear a few noises in this video that you don't normally hear in the other more controlled videos. But it should be fun anyway, and I hope you enjoy it. So the first lot of Filo pastry's gone into the pan, and she's now just brushing that layer down with the butter and olive oil mix. I'll just move that jug across out of the way so you have a clear view. There you go. I did it without even touching it. Yep, I just move things with my mind. Now Emma's actually already done the meat part of it already, so I can show you some of it here. This is it, and it's, as people say overseas, ground beef, mince in Australia, and it's got a bunch of basic flavourings, not too exotic because we don't want the kids to not want to eat it. So I will show you later what exactly is in it, and essentially she's just fried off onions and fried off the mince or ground beef and added the various spices, salt, pepper. That's pretty much it. Emma has now put a second layer of Filo pastry on and brushing that down again with the olive oil and butter blend. So it's essentially 2 layers of Filo pastry with the butter and olive oil blend underneath it and in between the layers, and then on top again.
Each layer is 2 pieces.
Okay, so Emma's just saying that each layer is 2 pieces, in case you didn't hear that. And as I said at the start of the video, this is just the way we do it. So please, please, you people out there that make the traditional ones, we're not claiming that this is the traditional way to do it. Please do not misunderstand. As I said, this is the way we do it to pretty much keep all the kids happy and make sure that everybody in the house eats it. And trust me, everyone in the house will eat this. I like how I warn everyone about the noise in the house and then it's totally silent. Except for the ice machine in the corner in the background. So that's the second layer now, with the 2 layers of 2 pieces of phyllo in between, with the butter and olive oil mixed in between those pieces of phyllo. And as you can see, we don't really go crazy on the beef filling. I guess with the different layers, it all sort of adds up in the end. There's no point to really pack it in like, I don't know, say if you had a meat pie where it's pretty full and thick. This is more a little bit sparse with the meat filling, and it's crumbly inside with the layers of the filo pastry. Please look up the traditional recipes if you'd like to see how it's done by the people that actually do it properly. It's amazing. If you would like to follow our recipe and do it our way, there's no reason why you can't do it in a square or rectangle pan. Okay, so Emma's just told me that she actually pre-cooks the meat first and lets it cool down completely, and that stops the juices of the warm meat going into the phyllo pastry. Now we are using a frozen phyllo pastry because making phyllo pastry from scratch is very tedious. It takes a lot of skill, and I'm not claiming to be able to do it. I've never done it. I've seen videos of people doing it and documentaries on TV, and there's no way I'm doing that myself. It's a credit to the people that actually make it from scratch themselves. It's incredible. Phyllo pastry works really well when you're making something with layers, because the way it's so thin and the way it ripples and it's crispy, and I said "and" too many times. Emma's just preheating the oven. So that's the first one done. And as I was just saying, Emma's preheated the oven. It'll go on, I'd say, 190 degrees Celsius. Off the top of my head, I cannot tell you what that is in Fahrenheit, but with the magic of editing, it will appear on the screen right now. And there it is. So with this second one, Emma's going to do what she's done with the first one. So it's the same thing all over again. I'll just give you a close-up of what this first one looks like. So that's the thickness of the pan there. And hopefully that is in focus for you. Cannot wait for this. And there we have it. We've got two here that Emma's made. Now, something that I didn't point out was at the end, when she's brushing the butter and olive oil mix on the top, she's actually pushing down on the edges here just to push the edges down. Presses them in, and then that way you don't have little bits sticking up and getting burnt before the rest of it cooks. Okay, so these are about to go into the oven. And now we wait. Okay, so Emma's about to do the cheese component of the dish. So we've got shredded tasty cheese here. We've got feta cheese here, cottage cheese here, ricotta cheese here, cream cheese here, 2 eggs from my chooks out the back, and we're going to put a little bit of ground black pepper. Now with the cream cheese, I need to point out that it needs to be at room temperature. So if you haven't left it out to be set at room temperature, just pop it in the microwave and warm it a little, but just watch out because you will turn it into mush if you do it too long. So there you have it, that's the first one. You can see the filo pastry on the edges there, how it's folded down and not burnt and sticking up in the air. Nice colour from the butter. Now we normally put sesame seeds on the top of this, but some of the kids don't like sesame seeds. So this one is just as is without the sesame seeds. And the cheese ones will more than likely have sesame seeds, as the people who eat those ones do like them. So now it's time for the cheese ones. The beef ones are in the background. You can probably just see them over there. And now Emma's going to pretty much do the same as she did with the beef, but using the cheese filling that you saw her prepare earlier. So it will be 1 layer of phyllo with the olive oil and butter underneath, and then again on top. And then she'll put a 2nd layer of phyllo with the olive oil and butter in between. And then the olive oil and butter on top of that. And then she'll put the cheese mix. And just keep on doing that, like layering a lasagna. Oh, and also, she's going to do a cheese version. I'm not sure if it's spinach and ricotta, but I'm looking over her, shaking her head like this. It's going to be just cheese, ricotta cheese, and feta, and cream cheese, and cottage cheese, tasty cheese. It's got a lot of cheeses. Okay, so here's the cheese ones. They were in the oven here for 30 minutes, as were the beef ones. But that's going to depend on your oven and whether it's fan forced or not, and a few other factors such as where you put it in the oven, what position it's in. So just as a guide, we had ours in the oven at 190 degrees Celsius, which is about 375 Fahrenheit. Yum, that looks really good. We're pretty happy with that. Look how flaky it is on top, and underneath it's also nice and brown. Oh, that's awesome. All right, so the moment of truth. This is the one with the ground beef, or mince as we say. So Emma's about to cut it now. Oh, listen to the crunch. Yeah. And there you go. That is, so you can see the layers going through here, and the ground beef, the crispy flaky pastry on top. It's cooked underneath. Look at that. Look at the colour there. So yeah, that's fantastic. Well done, Em. Unfortunately, I've got to wait until dinner time. Alright, so there you have it. Job done. I'd just like to thank my wife Emma for being a good sport and letting me film her as she did everything. And as you can see, things are looking pretty good. I do want to point out one more time that this is not the traditional recipe. This is the way we do it. So all the kids and even my wife and myself are all happy with the way things have turned out, and everybody gets to eat some of it. Please look up the traditional recipe online for the legit better version, I should say. If you do like this video, please consider subscribing, hitting the like button, hitting that little bell for notifications of when my videos come out, and by all means, please comment down below. I will reply. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.